Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am Sean Anderson, Most Valuable Podcast, and the upcoming segment is from our full Fast Break podcast that we recorded. And if you do want to check out that full podcast, head over to Blog Talk Radio/The Fast Break. You'll be able to find the full podcast over there. Let's move on to Oklahoma City. We got up first for me, Tyler Lydon. I think it's an obvious pick here. You look at Andre Roberson's ability or lack of ability to shoot. He needs some shooting. His ability to play small forward, I think that'd be a nice fit for Oklahoma City. So why not take up Tyler Lydon out of Syracuse? Ricky, who do you got him going with?
Oh, and that's the same reason I got him going with Rodions Kordic out of Barcelona.
So he tried.
And
This guy.
Well, it's the thing where he can score, and I don't like Roberson because he can't shoot free throws, so he's useless on the court. And just replace him. Get a guy who I know it's not like an exact like he comes in and replaces him because he didn't get a lot of playing time with Barcelona, but he can come in and develop.
Roberson isn't pointless. He's a great defender. He just can't shoot a free throw,
Yeah,
and that you can
pointless.
work on that in the offseason. Dave, who do you got?
But he doesn't, obviously.
Yeah, I've got them going with...
Maybe he gets cold feet. Maybe he hits 99 out of 100 in practice, but then he gets cold feet.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that even
It's
a little.
only passable if
either.
your name's Shaq.
Yeah, I was going to say. I just got him going best player available here with TJ Leaf. I know they took Sabonis last year. Sabonis kind of fell off the map a little bit, to be honest, though. So I think that TJ Leaf could give them another spark of scoring. Really, it's just scoring. If you
Could
can
add
get
some
scoring,
shooting.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like, look, if you can add another quality shooter out there for Russell Westbrook to pass to, he don't give a fuck what position you play.
I mean, last year they took your favorite power forward. What if they took your favorite power forward this year and bam?
Bam's
What if
still
he
available
followed
on
the
Ricky
Thunder?
and my board because he's going next to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn?
For both Ricky and I. Ricky, why do you got him going to Brooklyn?
This is just a BPA pick for me. I mean, the Nets could basically go with anything. So if they sit there and see Bam there, they'd be like, fuck it, let's lick our chops and take him.
I agree. That's the reason why I had Harry Giles mostly going to Brooklyn. I think it was last. No, I had him going higher than that, but I think Harry Giles would be a nice fit for them. But I think Bam's better and doesn't have the injury problems.
I've got Justin Patton. We basically just flipped the two. For these two picks, Patton again. I think he's a great fit because he's got that similar stride to Brolo, and I think it would fit in really nicely.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, I think learning from Brolo at least offensively for Patton, that's a nice pick. I just don't see him going that low. That's all.
Yep.
That's all I see for them. Let's move on to 23. The pick that I have is your boy Rodions Kordic. You're looking at him, looking at Toronto. Toronto, obviously PJ Tucker getting older. Also, traded for him as he's got a 1-year contract. DeMar Carroll hasn't been fantastic for the Toronto Raptors, but he's still got contract left. You get Rodions. He's a guy that can draft and stash, a guy that can develop. I know they went with Bruno before. He really hasn't panned out, but looking at I keep forgetting.
Bruno just did great in summer league, or not summer league, D League though.
Yeah, but then again, he can't.
dominated
He doesn't bring it up to. When
He's 1 year away from being 1 year away.
Yeah.
That's always the story.
Yeah, and then you also look at Maz Ayuri, the GM or the president of Toronto. I don't know. He's a guy that's taken chances on international players before, so I'll go with Rodions fitting there for Toronto. Who you got, Ricky?
I got a pseudo draft and stash, and the reason why is because of his injury troubles and Harry Giles. It's one of those things where you could just take
He's still
him.
gonna play.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where you can draft him and not expect him to bear a lot of the load and can kind of ease him into the whole culture there and just make sure that those knees are right before coming in and just taking over.
So yeah, I'm going with Ivan Robb here because I want someone who can play day one.
Can he?
Yeah.
You mean the lottery guy from last year?
Yeah.
The guy who was
He fell a
terrible.
little. He wasn't terrible. He just didn't do
He didn't
as
have
good as he
Jaylen
did
Brown
last year.
next to him.
Yeah, I would say when
bad.
your team gets worse, you don't always have the best opportunities there. I feel like he's somebody who can come in and play in Toronto, and I think fit-wise, we're all talking about the same general spot. So it's just they need to address it, and I think he'll do a fine job.
Yeah. All right, let's move on now. Looking at number 24, Utah's first appearance here. We're looking at Harry Giles. For me, I think that his athleticism, coming out of high school, a very highly touted prospect. You obviously had the ACL problems, but look at Derek Favors. He didn't have the greatest years. He was also banged up. So why not try another kid who's banged up? There's a lot of potential with Harry Giles. It's really, can he stay healthy? I think that's a really big if. But then again, that potential's there. So with Utah having 2 picks, maybe take a risk, maybe try to go out in Giles. I think that Harry Giles could be a nice fit, especially next to Gobert.
Yeah, and forward is a position where it's like, hey, you know what? They're going to have to address it. I got them addressing it with their second pick, to be honest. With this one, I go with the shooting guard in Mitchell, and it's mainly because Rodney Hood I haven't been 100% on. And this is one that can just add depth to that position, and you can just see in time what kind of happens with it.
Dave, you got the same pick.
Yeah.
Are you also iffy on Rodney Hood?
I'm not iffy on Rodney Hood.
Okay.
I just like adding depth and scoring here because I think they have a solid team. And what I'm watching in the playoffs, I'm not super concerned. So I think Donovan Mitchell is a player who can give them some more bench scoring, and I just like the value.
Yeah, I'm not too iffy on Rodney Hood either. I mean, a guy that can shoot 40% from three. I'm not too iffy on him, but at least looking at Donovan Mitchell, a guy that can bring a lot of athleticism, maybe be a spark off the bench like Joe Johnson's been. I mean, obviously completely different players. Completely different players because Donovan Mitchell's more off the ball and not a great ball handler and great scorer like Joe Johnson's been. The resurgence of Joe Johnson. But Donovan Mitchell might be a nice pick. I'm still going with Giles, though, just because that potential might be too much to pass up. Let's move on to Orlando now. Number 25, a guy that I just trashed, Ivan Rabb going here. Again, potential. He's big. You need some help down low. I mean, after Aaron Gordon, you don't have really a true power forward. Ivan Rabb could be a guy that can develop. I know they went with Zimmerman last year out of, what was that, UNLV?
Yep.
They went with Zimmerman last year out of
The
UNLV.
Running Rebels.
But he didn't get a lot of playing time, and he could also play center as well. So looking at Ivan Rabb, you already go with De'Aaron Fox early on. Get some help down low. I think Ivan Rabb's a nice player for Orlando to take up.
And the thing I love about this pick is if you look at yours compared to mine and Dave, you can see how that top 5 pick affects this pick for the Magic. Because you had him going point guard. No reason to go point guard here for you. In my mind, I had him going Jason Tatum along with Dave.
Yep.
That's why right now you got to go with Evan out of Oklahoma State. Get that point guard that you can either have behind Alfred Payton or, hey, if he flourishes and his potential shows, maybe overtakes Payton. But you got to take him and get your Tatum and point guard kind of a 1-2 punch in the first round.
Same reason you're going with Juwan Evans?
Pretty much. I like Juwan Evans. He can create his own shot. He's decent at distributing the ball. You know, he shot 37% from 3 this year, but not a ton of volume there. So I think that, again, it's just fit for the team, and it's a insurance policy in case you really don't really have faith, you know?
Yeah, all right, let's move on now to Portland. Another third time they're on here. Looking at Portland, they have
Portland,
Cleveland's
do you have
pick.
enough picks?
Well, they have Cleveland's pick. This was supposed to be Cleveland's pick next year, I think. But to free up cap space, it was something weird going on with that. But Portland's picking at 26. I got them going with Ike Anunoby. I'm not too high on him. I think that he didn't play a lot at UCLA. He's a guy that didn't show a lot, so maybe the combine shoots him up.
Yep.
But looking at Ike, I think that he can be a nice fit, a talent that when you have 3 picks like this, you can go out and get a guy and take a risk on him. Because I don't know if it's technically a draft in stash because he's still going to play for you.
He could be a D-leaguer.
He could be a D-leaguer.
G-League.
I think that Ike could be a nice fit.
Yeah.
Nurkic isn't the guy that's super athletic. Ike can be a guy that's pretty hyper athletic. So I'll go with Ike here. Ricky, you're going with Isaiah.
And the reason why I'm going Isaiah, it's one of those either add depth down low or be a draft and stash. Whichever way you want to work it, that's what you're going to do with this one.
Yeah, I've got Radonis for draft and stash. I just think that it makes sense for them. I mean, he's not a bad player right now, but they don't have any immediate need with all of these picks this year. They just don't have the roster space at this point. So you let him sit overseas, see how he develops, and call him when ready.
All right, let's move on to Brooklyn here. Second appearance from Brooklyn. And a familiar face, Donovan Mitchell, the guard out of Louisville. A guy that's super athletic. I know they went with 2 guards last year from Seton Hall. Blanking on his name, and they also went with Karis LeVert.
Whitehead,
thank you. But looking at that position, Whitehead didn't do too much, at least for Brooklyn this year. Mitchell's a guy that's super athletic. It could be a nice addition to their team again. Just trying to find something from Brooklyn. You're picking deep, but a team that's rebuilding. So maybe Donovan Mitchell can really be something that flourishes for you because of his athleticism. Ricky, you got
I'm going the
senior,
other guard,
senior leader,
Josh Hart, and this is one where I kind of agree with you, Sean. And not to spoil anything, but you had him in your mock draft last year until he went back to college. But I wanted Josh Hart to go to the Spurs, but I feel like this was a pick that the Nets just couldn't pass up with this veteran leadership right here at 27.
Nets and Harry Giles. It just makes sense, guys. I don't know why you're questioning it. It just
we already
works.
have Harry Giles off the board.
I know. For me personally, though, that's where I've got him landing, and it makes perfect sense because you've got concerns about his health, but you can let him come on over time. There's no rush. It's not like this is a team trying to compete next year.
Yeah, all right, let's move on to 28. Los Angeles Lakers, they already picked up at least Lonzo Ball in Dave and I's mock draft. They picked up Markelle Fultz in yours.
Flip them. Did it? No, you're right.
Yeah,
I picked Boston. I'm
Sean
flipping them in my head. I'm flipping them in my head. It's okay. It's
This is why I'm the host. Anyways, Los Angeles. I got him to go with Jordan Bell out of Oregon. I thought he had a phenomenal tournament, filling in for I'm blanking on his name. It's something French name though. The guy who got banged up. Boucher. Thank you. Boucher
Just like Bobby.
Yeah. Boucher got banged. Boucher got banged up, and Bell had to take over. I looked at Bell's athleticism. I looked at his length. That guy attacks, and I know that you look at least you got Tarek Black for Los Angeles. You also got Zubac, who they like. Randall's there as well, but Bell can bring that energy off the bench, kind of similar to a guy like Larry Nance, and that's why I'm going with him.
I love Nance,
because
and you know that.
Super athletic and a guy that's high energy. Bringing in a guy like Jordan Bell could be a real kick in the ass for a team off the bench. I think Jordan Bell's a nice pick for Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'm personally, I can respect Jordan Bell. I just think he'll be there later. I like Sindarius Thornwell, a guy who had a fantastic tourney performance, and who, he is a senior, so he is a little more, he's got that veteran presence.
So you're going
from college.
double guard in the first round?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, this is a team that, come on, you can't tell me that after losing Lou Williams off the bench that you don't need more scoring from that guard position. And I know that Lonzo Ball will be a great distributor, and having him play 1 in 1A with D'Angelo Russell is awesome. But having Thornwell and Clarkson as your backup, oh, come on. That would be awesome.
I got him going big. I got Ike. And it's one of those things where he doesn't need to step in and be someone right away. Though. But Mozgov isn't going to be there forever. That contract's going to get moved, let's be honest.
3 more years.
He literally just signed
you could try to find a trade partner for a...
give away a first to get rid of Mozgov?
Kind of a cap dump. And, Ike's a guy where... For that 1 year, let him kind of mold into it, and then boom, he's the backup to Zubat.
And now we're moving on to 29, the Spurs. Moving on to 29, the Spurs. A player that I've been mocking consistently, it's Josh Hart, a guy that is a Spur by every single nature. They need a point guard.
I want him to go there.
Josh Hart's a leader. He's a guy that can score. He's a guy that can facilitate. I think he's a guy similar to Danny Green who got overlooked, and I think Josh Hart will be overlooked. I think the Spurs realize his potential. I think Josh Hart is going to be a phenomenal Spur one day.
No, I'm just going best guard available, and that's Andrew Jones out of Texas. It's that easy. Move right along.
Yeah, same. I just think, look, when we're talking about this Spurs team, their biggest deficit is at point guard and just the aging of these players. So you go with one of the younger players in this draft. I think Josh Hart, is a good player. I just feel much more confident in the facilitating of Andrew Jones.
Yeah, and now looking at number 30, Utah. They got this one from Golden State. They went with the forward earlier. You guys had him going with a guard, so I'm having him pick up a guard. George Hill, his contract's coming up soon, I'm pretty sure. So getting a guy like Juwan Evans possibly being a filler later on. You already talked about him. His scoring ability. He's a decent passer. I think Juwan Evans could be a nice fit over in Utah. You got him going with Ivan Robb, though.
I got him going. Robb being the last guy in the first round before we start the second round, and it's one of those things where he's the best kind of forward available for me, and that's why Utah picks him up, because they went with the guard first.
And you're going
Isaiah, because best player available. It just makes sense.
Is he
going to
come over, or is he going to be a draft and stash?
They got the option. Okay. I don't really know where Utah stands right now. They've got some contracts stuff coming up right now, which is why I'm like, maybe they're going to move him already, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah,
Hartenstein, he's a guy that I'm really high on, so I don't think he's going to go past 20, but that'll be a perfect fit there for Utah, because if he develops, he's a guy that has a lot of potential.
Absolutely.
Like I said, he's not Kristaps exactly, but he's a guy that can be very similar to Kristaps and a guy that's very fluid. But final thoughts, what's the biggest surprise looking at all three of our mock drafts for you, Ricky?
For me, the biggest surprise overall is, just to see the difference between of how all three of us kind of think and go at things. Like, I think even though he didn't slide too far, like a Jason Tatum, I thought you kind of had sliding a little bit
that
too
was
far.
More because of it wasn't a fit. I thought I explained it at least decently.
I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah. I'm just saying it was a surprise.
Philadelphia doesn't need Tatum. I don't think they're going to go with De'Aaron Fox because he can't shoot. Monk is the best fit for him, but it's just a high pick for him. And then following him, I don't think he doesn't fit with Minnesota. And then looking at Orlando, I think De'Aaron Fox has more star potential. That's all.
That's interesting. I can respect that. I just disagree that De'Aaron Fox has more star potential. I think that Jay Tatum is J-Tay, as I like to call him.
J-Tate. For D-Rod.
He's going to be legit. My biggest thing is, like, I try to put myself, like, when you talk about different drafting styles, like, me, I was trying to think of the team as, like, what the owner's done in the past and, like, what kind of similar moves they would try to do in this situation. Not necessarily what I would draft in these situations the whole way. Because some of these where I was like, I'm on the fence. What would their owner do? What has their owner done? Kind of a thing to help guide me.
Yeah, and the biggest surprise for me is I think that all of our top 10 prospects are the same.
Yeah,
I think
we're locked in.
I think you look at the lack of a point. It's such a top heavy point guard draft, and then it's such a heavy forward draft behind there. So I think that's the biggest thing that you look at. You look at this, and I think the top 10 prospects, they're pretty much nailed down. I don't think any guy, maybe Zach Collins will make an appearance, but that's the only guy I can see really jumping into the top 10. But really, it's a top-heavy draft, and there are a lot of different, there's a lot of stars in this draft. I think that's going to come out.
Yeah, I think last year was more
star potential. Yeah,
I called it last year. I got a lot of shit for it, but I said it. It was last year's more of a role player draft. There are a couple, like literally like 3 potential guys who are like standout. Like you could be a legit star in this league, and the rest of these guys are like nice contributing pieces to teams. And I feel like I got a lot of shit for it. This year. I feel like it's very much a different draft. This year there are a lot of like, this is my anchor. This is going to be my guy on my team for the next 5 years, guaranteed. Like I'm going to love watching him every single game.
Yep. All right, let's gonna wrap it up. Let's gonna wrap it up, boys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button.
I forgot there was a camera there for a while.
We're in the season
You
of
do that every
NBA
week.
draft. NFL draft's gone. We're the main fucking show now because it's the NBA draft time. It's the NBA podcast. We still got playoffs coming. We still got all that coming, but we got to cover the draft as well.
Hashtag way too early.
We still got to cover the NBA draft because that's the next one coming up. So actually, the MLB draft might be before, but who cares about that? The NBA draft is coming
Isn't the
soon.
NHL draft before it too?
Yeah, you're doing an NHL draft, right?
Yeah,
Right, Ricky?
Sean's going to do the mock.
NBA draft coming up soon. We're super pumped for it. Tell us your mock draft in the comments down below. Also, if you download us on Blog Talk Radio, thank you so much for downloading us. If you're on YouTube, thank you so much again. And for Dave, for Ricky, I'm Sean. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. Oh, shit. It's just one of our videos scared me a little bit. Don't forget to check out that one. And also don't forget to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.